Afternoon.
Hey
Hi.
everyone.
Happy New Year. How are we?
Good, how are you?
Well,
Yeah, very good, thanks. Very good. Liam is dentist ready.
I am, and I've also been parked there since 1 o'clock because I thought they started at 1. I don't know where I got that from, but
Rookie error. Um, 1 month to go, Leah, 5 weeks out?
No, more like 7.
7 weeks, okay. All right, cool.
7. Yeah, but it's all happening.
Yeah. Have you got all the stuff? Have you got all the gear?
Yeah, all sorted. Like she loves a list and hates not knowing. So she's like, the only thing I can control is getting everything ready and not control when he's coming. So I'm like, fine, carry on.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
Everything is, he could come home tomorrow and it'll be fine, basically.
Nice. That's good. Good place to be.
Yeah.
How are you, Simon?
Good, thank you. So I'm a little bit late. I got a bit carried away with chatting to clients.
That's all right. You're not as late as Rob or Warren, so don't worry about it.
Hey, Craig, I'm glad to see David's got a new jumper on.
Yeah, I did pass the memo.
I saw that comment. That's all I've got to say to you. I deliberately put this one on today because off the back of that comment, actually.
Were you wearing your super dry one, yeah?
It's my warmest hoodie.
I'm pretty sure when I met him at university 18 years ago, he was wearing that.
Okay, what we're going to do this morning. So I think Liam, you've got macro review stuff going on.
Dave, can you just mute Simon, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Liam, you've got macro review stuff going on. Leah, you've been doing a commitment upgrade and kind of the prep for the switch. So I'm going to leave you guys with Craig just to talk anything on that subject to begin with. And then, Simon and I, when he's back, we're going to head into a room to do something else.
All right, cool. So both of you are going to be making switches to a new service, and we're going to be using the medium of macro reviews in which to deliver that. Liam and Leah, right?
So I've actually started. So I've used the beginning of each session as a mini macro review, essentially, and goal setting. And so I sent out a message. It's kind of been priming them for it to happen. And I've just been doing the switch this week, but it's been received fine.
Okay. Tell us some more.
So what I did is I was kind of like dropping hints in terms of the baby coming as an excuse in terms of not carrying sessions over within January and February, starting from then. And then I just did a video update in the Facebook group over the holiday, which was received well. And then the first 20 minutes of each session has been a sit down and a deep, not quite macro review level of questioning, but more than a normal session, if that makes sense. So sort of an in-between.
Okay.
And just following up from my video, these are the changes I'm making, and this is how it's going to work. And the only I'll always give you a month, and the only date I can't be exact on is when the baby comes, but that first week of when the baby arrives will be the first week of my holiday.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's all in line of delivering the information on the changes to your one-to-one program only, or have you also told them we're also going to switch to small group?
No, that's on a little bit of a back burner because I haven't got anywhere further with the facility. So I'm just going to concentrate on the one-to-one until there's something more definite happening there. And to be honest, now I think with it being so close, if it had happened pre-Christmas, maybe fine. But I think I might not rush to move now until after the baby comes and everything is fine. And then we'll switch. So the commitment upgrade for me, the time for me now is more important. If that makes sense.
Got it. Yeah, no worries. Hey Rob, hope you're good. We'll get to you in a second, buddy.
The only thing I'm unsure of with the commitment upgrade is what happens with the 2-a-week sessions when people do 2 a week. So do they lose? So if I take a week off, do they essentially lose 2 sessions, or not lose? But
if you take a week off, Leah, you need to be You need
Oh.
to know a month in advance minimum that you're taking a week off and get those sessions rearranged. So the idea with the commitment upgrade isn't like, oh, you're going to lose the sessions if I'm not here. It's that we need to get those sessions booked in. So we both need to be on the forefront to get that done. It's the commitment upgrade is more about them, like just canceling sessions like with 48 hours notice, and then not having to sort of build this big backlog of people sort of adding sessions and sessions in the bank. But that's the positive. The not the negative, but the thing you need to be aware of is that you need to be really hyper organized with your calendar. Like, so literally saying in 4 months' time, I'm going to be away for 3 days. That means on the Friday, I'm not here. So what I want to do right now is rearrange that session. And if you're that far ahead of the game and you can't rearrange it because your diary is that full, the whole point of the commitment upgrade is to keep protective of your time. What I would say is, okay, we can't do that. So I'm going to reduce your payment that month because we can't rearrange that session. And we're like 4 months ahead of the game. So I'm just going to reduce your payment that month because I'm going to be away. But that should be in a very, very rare circumstance, because we should be ahead of the game enough to be able to rearrange things.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. I've read into the training a little bit wrong, but it's received okay. Because I've said we will do all our best as we can. When you're away, we'll get the sessions in. But, you know, I've sold it as a subscription, a monthly subscription, what they get.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen my 2-a-week clients yet because they've been away or whatever. So I'll do that with them. But essentially, I've said they might have 5. So March has 5 Fridays. And then you might have a session missing from when I take a week off.
Sorry, I'm with you. So this is you're talking more about the set amount of weeks in a year that you've said you're going to take off, and that's inclusive. Yeah. Sorry, totally my fault. Yeah, you're absolutely
I've
right.
already been doing that, and it's fucking putting me in the ground, right? Because I'm working 32 sessions a week. So to go on holiday, I'm working 60 sessions.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry. Yeah, I misinterpreted what you said. You're absolutely right. So if you've said the commitment upgrade is the equivalent to a price increase, basically.
That's what I've said to them. I've said my prices aren't going up, but you're subscribing to a service. And if you go on holiday, you need to give me much notice, and we'll get your sessions in the month they're paid for.
Correct.
But time off, you will lose a session a week that month, a session a quarter, potentially 2. But you have 5 sessions in 1 month on the back of that. So it might be 4 or 3 instead of 5. I've actually given myself 5 weeks off.
Nice. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, I will give you at least a month's notice of when I'm going to be away. But when I am away, I'm away, and we're not going to be training. We're not going to be catching up on those sessions. But I will give you something to work on in your own time during that week when I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the perfect example, the first week the baby's here, those sessions are not to be made up, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Fine. So what happens? I just feel like the people who pay for 8 a month, should I just do 1 session that they miss and make up 1? Because I feel like it's like.
No, I don't think so. Because I think that's a halfway house. And we're either making the decision that like, if you were doing 8 a month, if you think of it this way, if you were doing 8 a month and 4 a month and you went for a price increase, the people that are going through 8 a month are going to have to pay a bigger jump in price than those that are doing 4. And this is just the same equivalent. Like the cost to them is going to be slightly larger, but that's because they're doing 8 with you. So you might have a little bit more pushback with 8 a month, but the principle of this is to protect your time. So yeah, I wouldn't say that, because I think we would then have another conversation in 3 months' time and go, oh, those 8 a month are still kicking my ass. So it needs to be that you draw a line in the sand. It might be that some of the 8s go, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm going to drop it down to 4.
Yeah. And this morning was a really great example. So she's a client of mine who broke her ankle, and she's come back because she's obviously gone back to square one because she's a larger lady. And I said, when she signed back with me, I already sent her the new agreement when she rejoined.
Yeah.
And I said, Sally, you know, and this is something for you guys, if you are doing the change. I said, I maybe approached it a little bit backward in the beginning, and I said, look, when I'm on holiday, I will take 5 weeks a year. those sessions don't carry over, but we'll make everything, we'll have the best plan we can and we'll do everything we can. So she said, you're taking money knowing that we're not going to have these sessions. We're not going to have 4 or 5 sessions. I said, yes, but actually, I should have said, it's the service, you're paying for a subscription because you get the access to the app, my availability, the Facebook group. If you want to go session per session, I can take all that away and charge you session per session at a cheaper rate. And she said, oh, now it makes sense that some months there might be less, because her mindset had shifted from price per session to everything else she gets, and she understood it a bit better.
That's the really important part about selling anything as a coach, is remember the premium packaging module?
Yeah.
Like, we are, as you said, we are selling a service which is paid for monthly. And the easiest way to get around that kind of question, if they ask that again, is to say, no, you're paying pro rata. Like, that's how it works. So over the course of the year, I'm going to give you 47 weeks of training.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to give you 47 weeks of training, and you're going to get this, 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 and this. And that's the service, and you pay for that monthly.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right in what you said there, is you're trying to detach your price to the amount of sessions someone gets per week, which is difficult because even our heads classically are stuck in, I charge £40 an hour, I charge £50 an hour. But we need to remove that so that we're not so attached to time.
Yeah. So paying pro rata is the answer, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Pro rata is the words that I would use, and then I would explain what pro rata means. And it's essentially like everything is configured. You know, when you said I could remove all of those things and charge you that, the way that I would say it is my price point is inclusive of all of these things, which includes 47 weeks of training over the course of the year. So if I was to increase the amount of training that I was going to give you, I'd have to increase my price. And I can work that out for you if you'd like. If you don't like that idea of me having 5 weeks where I'm not training you, then I can come back with another price, which is going to be more expensive, which includes 52 weeks of training. But when I'm not here, I'll just have to refund you that money anyway, because I'm not going to be here. And it's kind of like, it makes it sound really, they're like, oh yeah, well, I suppose when you put it like that, I might as well just not pay for it. And you're cool. All right, well, that's why it works as it works.
Yeah. And everybody, it's been pretty straightforward. And that was just a nice level of questioning me back, because everybody else has been so nice about it.
Yeah.
Has actually made me be able to sell it a bit better from now on as well.
Yeah, when you get that pushback, it's what makes you a really good salesperson as well, right? The more pushback you get, those really awkward, horrible sales conversations are brilliant ways to learn how to navigate things for next time. So yeah, it's great that you had that, because you can take that forward. So yeah, that sounds absolutely fine. I like the fact that you've got broken down the commitment upgrade and going to group coaching as separate conversations. That's good. There's a couple of things that I wrote down. Let me just find it. One thing I don't want you to use in your conversations again is, and maybe you didn't use it in the conversation, but you described it to me. Oh, okay, let me reword this. I don't want you to think of it as an excuse to do something. You know, when you said to me, like, it's an excuse, it's not an excuse. It's a positive movement that you're making for your business and for other people. And it's just like removing that feeling of like, oh, I'm doing something that isn't great for them, or isn't
like justifying it almost, right?
Yeah, you don't need to justify it. If they want to work with you, they'll work with you. If they don't, they'll hand in their notice and leave. And that's
quite handy, because I'm full.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're in a powerful position to do that. Okay, the second thing is on timing of moving to the new facility. Obviously, the right place hasn't come up yet. The likelihood is, as I'm sure you know, when you have your baby, that everything's going to go fucking mental. And so what I think that's going to do is it's going to put pressure on new stuff happening.
Yeah.
I think that we need to be careful not to wait for the perfect time.
Yeah.
I totally think you made the right decision. With 7 weeks to go, taking on your own facility is going to be really, really tricky in that time frame. So I think you made the right choice. But it's just, I've trained a lot of people that have not with your situation specifically, but they've waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, and then it's just never happened. So
I would agree. I mean,
just
if the
be
right
aware.
place came along tomorrow, I would try my best to figure it out and move in April.
Yeah, cool.
So
No.
it's not something I'm pushing back on. It's
No.
just not happened yet.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think you're making the right choice. But it was just that little alarm bell because I've heard it so many times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
it's definitely for now, getting my time and not feeling like I have to work my ass off to get a week off is
Yeah.
the priority now. And
Totally.
then when the time comes, that's the next big thing for me.
Absolutely. I had a conversation with a coach this morning who came in with 5 ideas, and 4 of the ideas all required more time, which she didn't have. And one of the ideas was about creating time. So it's like, well, that has to happen first before the other 4 are going to happen well. So you've done exactly the right thing. That sounds good. Liam, just popping across to you now. And Leah, if you've got any follow-up questions or whatever, we'll come to that in a sec. Just to ask you the same question, really, because you've been going through macro reviews or about to do it, but more.
Yeah, mine start next week. So
Okay.
out of 30 people that I train, I'm pretty confident that 20 of them will be quite excited by it, and the price isn't changing, so win-win. And then there's 10 people roughly that I know are probably slightly more shaky. So what I've done is I've sent them a letter that briefly explains the changes already, just to soften the blow, if you like. And then I've just said at the end that I'll obviously explain it a lot better in the macro review next week.
Could you give me high level the changes that you're making? Like, what are the exact things that they're going to hear about?
So they're going to train in 3s, and obviously I'm doing 1 group session a week. So their price is staying the same, but then I'm selling it as they're now seeing me 8 times a month for the same price.
Okay, so 4 a month are going to 8 a month, but instead of doing it from 1 to 1, they're doing it 3 to 1.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And then there's a few that I know that aren't ready for groups, as in they just simply don't fit in groups because of where they're at.
Yeah.
So they're going up to £160 a month instead of 120. And then their macro review is based around trying to explain to them that their 1-to-1 sessions are going to be geared to get them ready for groups if that's what they want.
Okay.
And then I've got probably 2 or 3 that will never take to the group idea, but obviously as I tailor off the 1-to-1 stuff, there'll come a point where I don't get rid of them. That's the wrong word, but I don't do 1-to-1s anymore.
You no longer become a fit.
Yeah.
Okay, and so a couple of follow-up questions for you on that, and there's some stuff in here for everybody. I'm going to go through it chronologically as you discussed it, but there's one really, really big point in here. The highest level thing, actually, before I go there, just to double check, if somebody says no to all of that stuff, at the moment, you're still going to carry on working with them 1-to-1 as long as they increase their price point.
Yes.
Okay. Now the group shift, the people that are going to go from 4 a month to 8 a month, obviously there's a time element to that. And I know that there would have been a lot of clients when I was a coach that would have said, like, well, I can't do 8. So if somebody is on 4 a month with you 1-to-1, but they still want to do 4 a month because of time or commitment, but they don't want to go to 8, we've got a price for that, right? We can say, cool, yeah, you can stay at 4 and the price is going to go down.
Sorry. So every 1-to-1 client that I have that's going into small group coaching will go into 3-to-1s. So they'll still do 4 3-to-1s a month.
Yeah.
And then the extra session a week, I remember I explained that I was doing a big group session with every single client in it.
Sorry. Okay, I've got you. So the price point, if I'm paying you £120 a month right now, for 4 sessions a month. I'm going to pay the same price, but I'm going to be working with 3 people for that session. But I also get a bonus session, which is for absolutely everybody once a week as well.
Yes.
Perfect. That's fine. That clears up my question. Okay, that's good. Have you got a hero program?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've gone with the mindset that that will be for new clients that are not ready for small group coaching yet.
And why wouldn't that be for current clients that are not ready for small group coaching yet, but want to be?
Because when I did the severity scale of 1 to 10 of how hard you're gonna push the small group coaching, I put it like 6 or 7. So
Okay.
I've said that they'll have, I don't know, X amount of months still doing 1-to-1 at a higher price point before they either move into small group coaching, or they have to do the hero into small group coaching, or they leave.
Perfect. Perfect answer. That was one of the things that I really wanted to put into that training, the severity thing, because certain people move to small group and it's like cutthroat. I'm making the decision now, you're either in or you're out. And the other end of the scale is like, I'm just going to slowly drip feed people in because I don't want to lose 1 penny of revenue. And so that 6 or 7, I think, fits perfectly with what you've just described. So that's good. It's good that you've got the hero, and I think you'll find. I'm working with a lady called Polly at the moment. She's doing really, really well with her group coaching, and her hero is got 100% transfer from hero into group. So it's a brilliant thing to have. Okay, cool. The final thing is the 2 or 3 people that you think will never join the groups. The outcome of the macro reviews for them is that they're going to just carry on with you 1-to-1 on the higher price point. That's the best sort of outcome that you anticipate for them at the moment, right?
Correct.
Cool. When you go into the conversations, this will happen every single time. That preconceived idea that you've got to try and remove it from your brain before you have the conversation. Because I guarantee you will use different language without even trying to with that person than you will somebody else. It will almost be something as subtle as you'll say it and you'll go, but listen, if you don't want to do that, we can carry on working 1-to-1. And you'll sort of almost jump in on yourself and say it too quickly. Anybody, like you guys, like recognize that in yourselves when we have a preconceived idea about someone? I'm about to see somebody 3 o'clock in another program that we run, which is very expensive. It's like $5,000 for a few like intense weeks of working with us. When I mentioned it to this person, not in a million years did I think that they would buy it, but I knew it was the right thing for them. I knew it was what they needed in a short, sharp period of time to turn their situation around. I had to remove the idea from my mind that it was a price that they would never pay. And I just had to go through the normal pattern in a very positive mindset with a genuine belief that this is the thing that they need most. And this is the thing that I'm going to talk to them about, because I can always pull back to something else. But this is the thing I think that they really need and they'll really benefit from. And if I can say it with that kind of like honesty and transparency, it will be received in the best way. The sticking point that you get with those people sometimes is if you don't believe that it's the right thing for them. So that's my follow-up question to you, Liam. Is there anybody that you actually don't think should go into group coaching from a non-business point of view?
Yeah, but only because they haven't been with me long enough, so they can't really squat properly yet.
So they're not ready. So they're the sort of person where that hero program idea still kind of comes back to me, but we can just carry it on with MRR, right? So the conversation with them, with those specific people, to keep you honest and to keep you transparent. And Leah, Rob, Warren, this would be good for you to think about as well. To keep us honest as coaches, right? Because we only want to deliver the right programs to the right people. You might actually tell that person, Liam, that you don't want them to join the groups. You might say, listen, if you want to give it a go, I'm happy to do it. But actually, I think that you're not quite there yet. So here's the plan of action. We're going to spend the next 3 months working together 1-to-1, as we have been. with the sole purpose of getting you to a point where you're ready to join the group program. And that honesty and transparency will be received so well that they're much more likely to buy into that idea.
It gives them a goal as well, right? I think something like that gets them, everyone else is joining. That's something to work towards.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Liam?
Perfect sense. Thanks very much.
There's probably not that many of them, so it's not gonna kick you in the nuts too hard, but it's probably the right thing to do. There was one more point on that as well. It will come to me in a minute. Okay, cool. So Liam, in terms of conducting all of that, the outcome of this is pretty big. There's quite a lot of changes that are going to be going on. When do those changes come into play?
So the price stuff I've given until March the 1st, so they have February as the full calendar month's notice.
Okay.
And then I've got the small group coaching starting from February because the price doesn't change and I'm anticipating a lot of excitement. So I feel better. Well, I'd rather get it started sooner.
I love that. So everybody that's going to group goes to group in Feb. Everybody that's staying one-to-one stays one-to-one, but their price increase doesn't kick in until March.
Yep.
Nice, like it. You've done really well. You've put a lot of thought into this. The final thing that I had in my mind, which has just popped back in while you were talking, was those that stay one-to-one, did they get access to the one group session?
So I wrote it down as no.
Good.
Because it's not part of it. But the issue I've got is the ones that are going to stay one-to-one that have already been coming to the groups. So obviously it would just create a bit of friction. But the answer is no, they don't.
Good. That's what you want. You want friction. You've just like, that's the exact reason why you would do it. Although it feels a bit awkward and like there might be a tricky conversation. It's like, well, yeah, cool. You can definitely come to the group thing, but the group thing, you could just say to them, listen, I set up that group thing because I knew that I was going to be doing this at some point and I wanted to get it going. I wanted to trial it. But now that we're making that switch to small group coaching, it is for the people that are part of that community and part of the small group. If you want to do it, would love to have you there, but you need to join the small group coaching team to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the right thing to do. And again, be prepared for a little bit of pushback, but you need to have those answers in your back pocket ready to. No one's going to leave you because they don't get access to that. That's not going to be a reason why they leave. If it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, sometimes that does it. But that wouldn't be a reason not to make that decision. So I think that's the right thing.
Got it.
It's good to have those incentives to the main thing that you want to do. Nice. Well done, mate. Really good.
I'm off to the dentist now, but I'll rejoin depending on when I'm out.
Okay, mate. Well, good luck. Hopefully you'll come out and we won't see any gaps in your teeth.
Hey, same as Rob last time. That's what I'm hoping for.
Nice. All right. Well done.
See you
mate.
later. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Okay, cool. Rob and Warren, just bring me up to speed with where you guys are at. If we just start with you, Rob.
So I ran my competition from Boxing Day, and I announced a winner on the 2nd. And so I've had her in already for like an orientation type session. And she's starting tomorrow. And so I have 15 other leads on the back of the competition.
Okay.
That I've been reaching out to. I've got maybe 2 bookings for consultations so far.
Okay.
I don't know, this is probably the wrong mindset to have, but I'm starting to be a little bit unconfident around the fact that I'm not sure that these are the right people for me. Mm-hmm. I really need to get off Nextdoor. The Nextdoor app, and I don't know what it's like in other towns and cities, but in Edinburgh, it's awful.
Oh, really?
Bunch of insidious, nasty bastards. Sorry, like it's just.
It's a place for complaining, right? That's what it is. I find here anyway.
Yeah, it's yeah, they're not my peoples.
Just to I totally, that's fine if it's not a thing. Just to jump in on that, we have we have our free Facebook group. We've got over 5,000 people in there. We give everything away in there that we give away completely for free, right? Unbelievable the amount of people that are like, you guys told me I'm like, it's fucking free. Like, take a look at it. If you like it, have it. If you don't like it, chuck it in the bin. It's free. But it's unbelievable how much public pushback you get from people behind a screen. It happens. You've got to be numb to it. You've got to be numb to it. But yeah, if it's not serving you well, then for what it's worth, if it's taking away a lot of your time, then don't do it. If it's not taking a lot of your time, then do it anyway, because there's always some gold in there. Just to backtrack on your numbers a second, Rob.
Yeah.
2 consultations so far, 15, let's just say 15 potential consultations.
Yeah.
How many hand raises did you get? How many actual entries did you get?
No, these are entries.
Okay, so 100% of people that entered started sell by chat with you.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, more or less. Like maybe 1 or 2 of them have had like a thumbs up rather than a written response. But like there's at least the beginnings of interaction.
And to check, the moment they entered, did we start sell by chat with them?
No, I mean,
Okay.
it was a very busy time of year. We celebrate Christmas Eve because of Kasia being Polish. Christmas Day, my birthday, like
that's cool. Yeah, it's so cool. I don't need to explain it. I just want to know because it dictates the outcome. So the general rule is, as soon as we can, we say, hey, thank you so much for entering. What would you do if you won? Did we manage to get that out to people?
Yeah.
Nice, cool, perfect, good stuff. And so we got 15 hand raises. How many sort of decent conversations have we got going at the moment? How many engaged conversations have we got?
I would say 6.
6. Okay, good. And then two booked in with 6 other live potentials.
Yeah.
Cool. So I always like to look at promotions from a percentage perspective, because we can always do stuff that gets more from the top line, right the way to the point where we could put paid advertising behind it if we really wanted to take it to the nth degree, right?
Yeah.
So some people will do I had one person once do a competition that had 200 entries, but his percentages weren't that great. So he ended up with something like 8 clients from 200 entries, whereas actually he should have got more than that from the 200. Whereas you can get some people that will get 10 entries, but they get 5 clients from it because they're really, really good at the bits in between. So the percentages are what you should, in my opinion, what you should look to track, other than the very, very top number, which is 15. So 15 down to 6. Oh, I guess 8, right? Because we got 2 people booked in for consults already. Is a 53% engagement from the competition into solid sell by chat, which is really, really good. We don't know what the next percentage is yet, but of those 8 conversations, 25% of them, I can't believe I just put that into my calculator, but I did. 25% of them have already come through and booked a consultation, which again, if we can get that a little bit higher, if we can get that to say 50%, I think that would be a really good outcome. So that will give us, say, 4 consultations. And then if we can convert 3 of those 4, that would be a really good percentage outcome of your competition. So what that then tells us is there's not a huge amount that we need to change about the process. It just becomes, how do we get more hand raises at the top level? And why that's important is it might be that you change the thing. Like maybe the competition invites a lot of next door bastards that we don't want. So we look at something that's going to, because you said at the start of this, I want to try and attract like a better type of person. The purpose of the competition, it is not to do that in a way. The competition is so open. What we should be able to get is lots of names, because it's like just anybody could enter it, right? Whereas the opposite to that is, I'm looking for somebody that's got size 9 feet, can run a 10K in under, do you know what I mean? Like we can get really, really specific. And that's where you want really low volume of people, but really high quality. I'm always looking on this scale. So when we started Velocity, we were like this with our marketing. And I'd say that we've maybe gone like this now. Like we've tightened it up a little bit. So I'm having a lot more calls with people where within the first 5 minutes now I'm sort of like, I don't think we're right for you. Because we just don't want to work with them. But rewind the clock 2 years, I'd have been like, yeah, come on in. And I'd be like, oh, we'll do the grunt work and we'll see if we can get them through.
Is that
Right.
how we're all here? Is it just
That's how you guys made the cut. Yeah, no,
That's how we're
exactly.
in.
You're the creme de la creme, guys. You're the creme de la creme. But no, we've genuinely and we've done that because we've learned more about who we attract, what we can do, who does our program work for, who does it not work for. But over time, we want to continue to shorten that. That's only ever going to happen when you have the ability to increase your lead flow. So general rule, if you struggle to get leads, you have to go a bit more open book and accept that your sell by chat process is going to be the filtering process. If you find getting leads really easy, you can tighten it up a little bit more. So you might, if you want to be a bit more specific about who you attract, I wouldn't do the competition. I would look to do something with a little bit more specificity to it.
Okay.
But your goal based on your number, if you can end up with 4, sorry, what did we say? Yeah, 4 consultations or 4 LNTs. And you can turn those 4 LNTs into 3 paying clients, plus the likelihood of the person that actually won the competition converting as well. That will give you 4 clients overall. That would be a really good result from the 15 hand raises. 15 hand raises to 4 clients is solid.
Okay, next question on that though is, in terms of what the outcome is on this, what they're signing up for. Like, am I accepting nothing other than my new hybrid product?
I'm just thinking. My gut's saying yes. But a personal question to you, and I think I know the answer. Financially, you doing okay? You're all right?
I'm okay. Like, this is a conversation I need to have with myself, not one with you guys, because like this is the best I've started any year so far ever in my 43 years.
Good work,
like,
mate.
like, and I still don't believe it. Like, and I'm pretty much fully booked, and people like recognize that, and people like mention me online and say, yeah, it's one of the best PTs in the city. Whether I am or whether I'm not, like if people are starting to associate that with me because I'm busy and I'm visible, like these are like amazing things. And I don't fully accept it yet or give it enough credit yet that I'm like surfing that wave of confidence. So yeah, but like that's a long answer to say I'm okay.
Well, you've now clarified by what you've just said, you've clarified my decision, which is yes, it should be hybrid only.
Okay.
Because otherwise what you'll be in danger of is standing still through fear of moving forward. I did it for a very long time. I said this openly to somebody the other day, that Velocity should have happened 5 years earlier than it did. But I was making really, really good money as a coach in the position that I was in. It was easy. I had a family, I had responsibilities, and I glued myself to the floor. But fucking hell, 5 years earlier, like where would we be now? So much regret on that. It's one of the biggest things that I regret in my whole life is that we didn't start earlier. So if you're okay, and actually it's more around you believing in where you're at, and you've got all the evidence around you to suggest that that's the case. You're in this conversation today. You've got all of those people saying those things. Your diary is telling you that. You're in the best financial position you've ever been in 43 years. close the books and let's go for hybrid. And let's appreciate that your percentage conversion rate is going to go down. So now what we're saying is, let's see if is that the person that won the competition, are they experiencing hybrid right now?
They will be.
Good. Cool.
But again, like square peg and round hole. This woman doesn't work. She's got property, but her husband works offshore, so he's away for 3 weeks, comes back. They go to their house in Tenerife, and then they come back again. So her life jumps around in these 3 week spells. And so
by the way, sorry, that sounds perfect for someone that would benefit from hybrid. Absolutely perfect, on the money.
Okay, thank you.
Like that's someone that wouldn't do well with face-to-face coaching, but you would just say, cool, well, a bit like Leah said, my subscription is that you get 2 sessions a month with me, right? And everything else is delivered in an online capacity. So let's just organize our diaries and make sure that when you're here, we get our 2 physical sessions in. The rest of the time, I'll work with you online. You could be wherever you want in the world. I'm going to help you and take you through this journey. So she feels like a round peg in a round hole to me.
Okay.
The finance thing, we don't know, but we don't worry about that. We create the value and we give them something that makes them feel stupid not to say yes. I had a conversation 2 days ago, just a little bit of storytelling on this, with a guy who works at a professional football club, wants to become a personal trainer. For some reason, he felt it necessary to share his bank account on the screen and show me that he had £4 in his bank. I'm like, okay, he's like, I can't invest, but I know about you guys. I really want to work with you. I said, cool. I said, listen, we can help you. That's all I can say. And I said to him, if you want to come up with the money, I'll leave that up to you. Like, I'm not going to stand here and tell you to go and take out a loan and do this and do that. Like, that's your call, but we can help you. You know what we do. You know how we help people. I'll leave it up to you. I said, I'll keep the offer open for the next hour or so. And then I just sent him a follow-up voice note immediately after the call. And I dropped the link to join underneath it. And 30 minutes later, he joined. And it's like, if you want to find the money, cool. If you don't, fine. You're not ready. That's okay. That's like the mindset I go into with a sales situation.
Rob, this reminds me of the 2 weeks ago. £380.
380 pounds.
There you go.
All right, cool. So there's a lot of good stuff in what's just been discussed there, Rob. Now it's about you just got to back yourself now. Just back yourself. Know that what you've got is really fucking good. Lots of people are talking about you. We know that you're good. You've got the minimal viable product ready to go. So let's become that hybrid coach, which is what 2024 is all about. And if you make 0 sales, this is the final point. If you make 0 sales from the 4, it doesn't make it the wrong decision. That's 4 people that you've just learned how to not sell to. Like, you're going to be 4 people better, so that when the 5th comes along, you'll be delivering a better version of how to sell the hybrid. You have to get, you guys know this, you have to get a lot of no's in this world to be able to start getting really good at getting yeses. I'm pretty good at sales now, but I've had thousands of no's. Thousands of no's to get me good at getting yeses. So yeah, let's go and as Kieran, and I know you're a big fan of TMP, as am I. As Kieran said, like, let's go run some experiments. If we don't run the experiments, then we'll just sit here and guess and carry on waiting. All good?
Awesome. Thank you.
Nice. Well done, buddy. Some good percentages. Some good percentages. Okay, Warren. Yeah, I think my takeaway is that we need to make sure you've got the kick up the arse that you needed.
Yeah. So obviously I wrote that in there yesterday, but also had a discussion with my partner. So obviously we've also mentioned this before, was setting time aside to not come home and then get that kind of work done somewhere else. So that's been put into my diary now. That's like a set block needs to be blocked out in the week, and then just sit down and do it.
Nice, good. And do you know where that place is going to be?
We've got obviously I've got the main gym, and then we've got a studio which is across the street, which isn't utilized that often. And the day I've picked to do it on is completely empty. So I'll just go in there. It's all in the same colors of the gym and everything, so it looks like you're in the gym. And I'll use that if I need to do a video. There's a bit of equipment in there as well. But even if it's just sitting in there and writing posts or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just a quiet space.
Yeah, exactly. Get yourself a coffee machine in there, and then you're good to go, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect, good stuff. I'll give you a really quick example because it happened earlier. I work away from the house, which is very useful. But I had my daughter's off school today. She's not very well, and I was in the middle of writing some content, and I was in a really good flow with it. All of a sudden, there was this like bang on the door. I opened the door. It was my daughter. She's like, "Daddy, we haven't seen the cat since yesterday. Can you help us find the cat?" And all of a sudden, I've spent the next 20 minutes shouting a cat's name that, like, it's just fucking pointless. I don't need to be doing it. And then I come back to sit back down, and all of a sudden I've got 10 minutes before the next meeting. I can't get back into the flow of the content. Such a perfect example of how stupid little things at home can just completely upset the flow. And my time is quite sparse for those things, so it really pissed me off. So I think that's a brilliant thing for you to be able to do. It's then about not walking into that, and this is a great lesson for everybody when it comes to on the business time. You mustn't walk into that studio and then think, what am I going to do? It's got to be preloaded. You've got to walk in there and go, cool, here's my list, let's go. Like, so that's about the second brain. That's about like getting ahead of the game and being able to prioritize your next right thing all the time. So you're going to hopefully leave these calls each week with your thing. But what you then want to do is break that thing down. Like, what's the next 3 or 4 individual tasks that help me achieve that thing? So it's a big thing for me personally. Otherwise, I end up sitting down in the first 30, 45 minutes of my on the business time, just deciding what I'm going to do. That's not what that time should be for. Does that make sense?
So alongside that, I've started, like, in my notes on my phone, like I think you said it in the weekly client machine, is like taking notes through PT sessions, like what did we discuss? So I did that yesterday. I was like, right, we discussed like eating fast, or like, and it's just like, what's the benefit to eating slower? And I was like, oh, that's actually a good topic.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like just getting to your, like, say, when you get to that sit down time, it's like, I've got 6 topics to talk about. Fine, that'll take up a bit of time.
Totally. Yeah, exactly right. The content flywheel.
Yeah.
And the idea with that, the help with that. By the way, you guys are my content flywheel. The conversations that we have together and the conversations that we have in the main group, when something keeps coming up, it's like, if I haven't got a piece of content on that, I've got to create one, because what I think my audience needs to hear might be different to what they actually want to hear. But when you consider that making content is not about solving problems. Making content is about making connections. So we've got to create content on things that does that. Like, I put a stupid post earlier of a dog like falling asleep whilst in the background there was somebody talking, and it was based on a conversation that I had, which is, you know, when you're training that client and they're telling you the same story that they told you last week. Like, have you guys ever had that? And you're like, fuck, I've already heard this. Like, it's so boring. And then it's, do I tell them that they've already told me this and make them feel awkward? Or do I listen to it again for the second time? But then they go away and think, hang on a minute, I think I've already told them that. Maybe they didn't listen to me the first time. And it's just those like tiny little things. It came up in a little conversation. And so I made a bit of content on it. And I know that I'll get some conversation started from that, because it's going to resonate with a couple of people. They'll find it funny. And then I'll get a conversation started. And I'm just going to move through the ease of sell by chat and try and get to a place where I can say, so you're a face-to-face coach, right? And they'll go, yeah. And I'll say, cool, how's it going? And then I can drift into that part. But just to get that initial connection, if we can understand what's going on in our audience's heads, the things that they're experiencing, thinking about, worrying about every day, whether it's a funny thing or an educational thing, really powerful. And then just to further that, while we're talking about content, I did a little 4-week analysis of my content, which isn't performing amazing, and like it's going to take time to build it up. But every single hand raise that I've had from my weekly client machine that has turned into a call, every single one of them came from social proof. Every single one. So it's a reminder that we've got to make sure that every single week in your posts, you should have social proof. Every single day in your stories, you should have social proof. Now, social proof could just be a screenshot of someone that was like, hey, Warren, thanks for the session today. That was insane. It could be a before and after picture. It could be a full-on video that you've broken down into 3 or 4 different stories. But we always need a call to action at the end of that social proof or attached to that social proof story. But that was just like so interesting when I analyzed where my hand raises came from. It was literally 100% social proof stuff. It might not be next month, but just an observation. So cool. So Warren, your main thing at the moment then is obviously getting back into the speed of things for social media and the weekly client machine, which is good. Where are we at with the promotion work? You said that it's done and ready to run, but like potentially this weekend or the start of next week. So where are we at with that?
I can't. Yes, it's pulling the trigger on it. I think Rob was just saying about wanting a better client. Like there's a part of me that I've not wanted to run it for the beginning of January, because in the past, like a lot of clients I pick up in early January end up being like almost a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I could make a quick buck and sign up 5 people tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've always done better like towards February with the people that had a go at going to the gym. Then they come in, they're like, actually I need help and I do want to do this. And that's where I really meet my good long-term clients. And because I'm so fully booked, it's a bit like, do I really want to do a free month with 5 clients to potentially sell to maybe one of them? Or could I start it in February?
So you're going for because you did it, you smashed this when you first joined us. Are you doing the 1-month case study? Is that what you're okay? Yeah. In which, again, we've got to look at all of these different marketing strategies through their own individual lens. So like we said, the thing about the competition is it's like super, super wide and super open. The thing about the 1-month case study is it gives you the most amazing opportunity to sell because you're building layers with somebody. But again, it's relatively wide open, right? £1 for a month. You're going to get that person that's going to think they can get all their problems solved in a month for £1, and they're going to jump on it. However, the thing that you can do with the 1-month case study, and I don't know how hard you did this the first time around, is the application element of it. Remember that people are applying to do this. You can choose
I did do that.
You want. You did.
I did do that on the first one. We did the application form, which worked really well because I still opened it up quite hard because I had no clients.
Yeah.
So I still took a lot on, but I think, what did I have? 15, I think I had 20 hand raisers, signed 15 people into it. And I think 9 of them ended up being long-term clients. And most of them ended up being more than 1 a week. So like it did work.
Yeah. So the solution then, based on what you're saying, is actually, I think you've got the perfect promotion for your problem, but we need to go into the application process and tighten it up even further.
Yeah.
It needs to be like, don't apply for this. We could go as far, not saying we will, it needs a bit more thought, but we could go as far as saying, don't apply for this if you think you're going to get all of your problems solved in the next 30 days. Like, yeah, it could be that maybe this is the right answer, that at the end of the form, they have to book a call with you, right? You then run a connect call with them, and then you have a face-to-face interaction with them to make a decision as to whether you're going to take them on. And instead of opening up however many slots it was that you said you opened up, 15, I think, like shorten it right down, say I'm looking for, I'm going to take on 5 people. And so if you've got 10 connect calls booked in, you can pick the 5 that you think have got the best chat. And it's a little bit of guesswork, but if we can ask the right questions, then we've got a good chance.
Yeah, definitely want to only open this to 5. I don't think I could just with the amount of one-to-ones I've still got,
Yeah.
like none of the people who said they were leaving left in November.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, but it's like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And obviously with a bit of Christmas and that, I've got like these last few weeks are just, well, this week's just been crazy, like trying to just catch up a bit. And then I've got a few clients even wanting to open up extra training. And it's a bit like, do I just say no?
I think so at the moment.
Yeah, it is a bit
I
like,
think so.
no, I can't. Like I actually said no to someone today. They were like, I want to do more slots. And I was like, I don't have space.
However, you do have a place on your hybrid program for them,
But we
right?
could do, yeah.
That would be the conversation with anybody that wants to upgrade or wants a little bit more focus. You could say, actually, I don't think you need extra sessions with me. I couldn't offer them to you even if you did.
Yeah.
But I do have this other thing that we run. And I'd love to spend some time and talk to you about that. So there's an opportunity there. Warren, I think my suggestion to you then is that you run it next week. But you spend this weekend looking at the filter process and what you're actually going to do. And my suggestion, if you want to give yourself the best chance of filtering, is that you put a connect call in there.
I was always going to do a call.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Well, I spoke to David about that because, yeah, on my gym floor is not the best place to get like a really good connect with someone anyway, where you want them to open up and kind of tell you their deepest, darkest like worries and fears. The gym floor, like where we are, is pretty open and you can't really do that. So I was going to do a quick 10-15 minute call anyway. I'll just get to know the person, ask them what's really troubling them, try and understand that before inviting them to the gym for a 60-minute kind of consult where we'll do like more of an assessment there.
Okay, so let's just finalize this then, just for my head as much as anybody else's. So we're going to promote. We're going to get our hand raise. We're going to go to a little bit of sell by chat.
Yeah.
The sell by chat then goes to the form. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then the form, at the end of the form, they book the connect call.
Yeah.
Connect call then goes through effectively to a consult.
Yeah, that I suppose that the connect call is where I'd choose who would go to the consult.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there'll be people here that you will purposely push out. Do we? I'm thinking, what's the purpose of this? Just to get really clear.
Yeah, kind of see if they're the right fit, like someone that's not just looking, like you say, even though you say it's not a quick fix, sometimes you can have a chat with someone and they're kind of like, yeah, just want to get going in the gym. I don't know, like get to know the person a little bit.
Okay, so it's but I see that as possibly being able to be solved here, but it's slightly deeper. You just want to go a little bit deeper and just make sure, right? So
yeah,
it might be that you kick another couple of people out on the back of that. It might be that actually you take on 10 calls here, you reduce that down to 7 here, and you end up with 5 here, for example.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Then they're going to go through and they're going to do their 1 month. And that's when you're going to do, at the end of that, you're going to do like consult number 2, right? Which is where you're going to convert them into hybrid.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes sense. So I think, yeah, the bit that we're talking about here that we want you to go and have a think about over the weekend is, what do these questions look like? And how can we tighten them up? What are we going to be asking here? And how can we sort of fish out the people that are not going to be right? And then this one here is going to be like, I would almost suggest that one's a little bit more future proofing. Like to be a bit more direct. Like if this month goes well, if you enjoy the process, you know, what I'm looking for is people that at the end of this month that are gonna look to commit to this longer term. Yeah.
Also at that consult level, you could see if they're more fit for hybrid, like straight going into hybrid, or if they're more of the, you know, high level, sort of 6-week.
The hero program, you mean?
The hero program, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And also find out whether they just need personal training. And if they do, pass them on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that will be part of it. That will be a part of a really good sequence for you moving forward when you're in charge of the other coaches as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't be again, a bit like I said to, I'm not sure whether you were here, but I said it to Liam, like if somebody isn't right for something, don't sell it to them. That I know that you all morally wouldn't do that, but I bet we can all think of at least one time where we've sold something to someone and been like, I'm not sure, or maybe not, but I've definitely done that in the past.
I've definitely taken on clients where I'm like,
yeah, and
you know, not with it, yeah.
That works on the lower ticket stuff where they're just rocking up every week and training and doing a session. And like for you, Leah, moving into small group coaching, you've got less restriction on that because people can just come in and give it a go. It's quite low ticket. But when you're going into like a higher price point thing at the end of this, you want to make sure they're the type of person that is going to value the service at £400 or whatever the price point is going to be.
Got it.
All right. So that sounds good. That's what I'd like you to work on, and just share it in school. Over the weekend or Monday, whenever you've got to it, and we'll take a little look at the filtering as it exists. There is also a training we've got called the lead filter. I don't know if you've ever studied it.
I think I originally looked at that when I did the initial one.
Okay, cool.
It was on there.
But yeah, I'm sure if you've
But I'll
been
look
through
for
it
that
once,
anyway. I'll write that down. I'll put that one in.
yeah,
I'll do that this weekend.
Cool. There's a couple of things in there that might help, but the idea is almost like it's the opposite to somebody that's maybe struggling to get leads, which is like, how do I get people through the door? It's how much do I want to close the door so that they have to push it back open. And that will help you find the right 5 people for sure. Cool. All right, guys. So just circling back around, any follow-up questions? Warren, did you want to say another thing?
I've got to shoot though. Thanks so much.
All right. Okay, cool. No worries, buddy. All right. We'll catch you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Rob, Leah, any follow-up questions from you on what either something we've discussed today or what you need to go away and work on?
Rob, do you want to go? He's on mute.
You're all good, Rob? I think he's good. Leah?
Yeah, so I mean, Rob's percentages are way better than mine. I had 270 comments on my comp post or something.
Wow.
It went mental. Like, to the degree someone sent a picture to Ella of their Facebook where, because my face was the competition, you know where your story is. Every 4 of stories was my face.
Wow, well done. That's amazing.
So, but obviously I did message and say, well, thanks for the entry, good luck. What would you do if you weren't? I had a few come back, but my purpose wasn't to get consultations. Essentially, my competition was purely to spread the name. So for when more followers was my goal, essentially, right? And I got, I think, 50 more followers.
Good, nice, well done.
Yeah. So, but on the back of that, I've had 3 consults already. People are just messaging me saying, actually, I don't care about the free thing. I need help.
Love that.
Fine. So I've signed those 3 up and I cannot take any more, but I've got 3 more consults next week. So the wait list is just a little bit of clarity around that wait list and actually implementing it.
Sure. The first thing is well done. You got exactly what you wanted. 270 comments shows, because you're not a serial promoter, like we know that, but it shows that moving into small group coaching, there's even more appeal for me now for you to do that, because if you can generate that kind of attraction from a very simple couple of posts, then we're going to be able to bring people into a small group coaching program when you've got the space, no problem. I'd love to know those numbers and what it dropped down to, but there's part of me that's less interested because your outcome was not focused on getting consultation. So you wouldn't have given it your all, and nor should you have done, because that isn't the outcome that you wanted.
No, I didn't want to go into too many sell-by chats because I've got nowhere to put them. Cool.
Well, then in which case we don't need to know the other numbers, because all I would have said is, oh, to get more, you would have needed to have done more, but you know that. So that's fine. So the question is, you did 3 consults on the back of it of people that just said, hey, I don't care about the free thing, I just want to work with you. They've all signed up. You're now about as fully booked as it gets. What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
The high level answer to this is that and you've heard us say this before, is that lead generation in general should never stop.
Mhm.
You can never have enough leads, but you obviously can slow down if you have to or need to your engagement with those people. We need a place to put leads in general, which is usually a free Facebook group. It's a great place to put leads. And when we have people that want to work with us, we need a place to put them, which is the waiting list, which is your question. So the training will show you exactly how to set it up. But the high level idea is we want to get waiting lists are classically rubbish at holding on to people. So people join a waiting list, but by the time you get to them, they've gone elsewhere.
Mhm.
The point of the velocity waiting list is we actually get them to commit to something. So we actually sign them up on Go Cardless, and they pay £1 a month to be on your waiting list. They also get something back in return for that. They get to join your community.
So they
And
would
they-
join my members Facebook page.
Yeah. They get to go into your members Facebook page, see what's going on. They get to interact, but also they get, you just need to check the details on this because I haven't gone in there and checked this training out for a little bit, but they also get a call with you once a month. And the outcome that you want from that call is to keep them engaged with you and wanting to come and work with you. So it's almost like a mini macro review once a month. And you're not gonna do anything that's gonna give you lots of extra work to do. So you're not gonna go on the end of that call and say, oh, I'll put a little program together for you. It might be, oh, if you go into the resources in the group, or I've got a program that's similar to that, I'll throw it over to you. You can get started with it if you've already got things that are pre-built. But generally speaking, it's just going to be supporting them whilst they're waiting for an opportunity. Now, the side note to this for you, Leah, is that you might want to build your waiting list for small group coaching. And just saying, look, I've actually closed the doors. This will be a conversation you have in the consult. I've closed the doors on one-to-one coaching now. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. But I am going to be opening up slots soon. And I can't tell you exactly when because I'm having a baby. But I am going to be opening up some slots soon in a new facility for small group coaching. And you sign them up on the waiting list in exactly the same way, £1 a month, deliver the same thing. But then you're lining up customers to come in to your new thing when the time is right.
Mhm.
How does that feel?
Yeah, I would be comfier, I think, doing that when I've got a location in mind.
Okay.
The right location. I think as soon as that is found, then yeah, if that comes along next week, and then I would do that until I move in at the end of March or April, possibly.
Okay.
Whatever it would be, but definitely with the wait list for £1. I just need to do it. I should have done it with my last two, but what I tried to do with one of them is just make her come once a month, because she was like a little bit on edge with financial services. I said, look, just come once a month. You still get all of that, but you're paying me £50 a month, and you come and see me once instead of calling them. They come and see me. I'm sure I can fit you in once a month.
That sounds like the help that I just want to help side kicked in over the business side a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, I guess I've just scared of turning, but I'm not turning them away, right? They're just on a list ready to come in.
You don't have space for them, Leah. It's
No.
simple as that. Like you got two options: make the waiting list or create more space.
Yeah.
And when we put it as black and white as that, it's got to be the wait list, right? Because we don't want to create more space. So yeah, that's the answer. That's cool. And ultimately, if we get further down the line and you put them on the waiting list for one-to-one, and you're making your movement across to small group coaching, you can just say to them at that point, I don't have any one-to-one spots, but I do have small group coaching. Would you like to do that? And if they say no, you can say, okay, cool. Well, listen, I'm not going to be taking on any more one-to-one. I'll refund you the £4 that you paid. Like, it's not really a problem. So yeah, I think that's the way to go. So I think the training's pretty black and white, and I think it's exactly what you need. I don't think we need to make any individualized changes to it. So I would study it, implement it, and get those 3 people onto your wait list.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Perfect.
It's like a good problem to have. It's a bit like Rob in terms of like this. I think this month is like 5, 7 which is the biggest month. At
Nice.
like 32 hours or something, I think it is fully booked now, but it's enough, right?
Yeah, you're in the perfect position to move to small group coaching.
Yeah. And what the commitment upgrade has been doing, which has been really good, is just trying to get the same spot with more clients weekly.
Yeah.
Actually helps to stack that.
And those descriptives that we clarified earlier will help you just get that message across to everybody. And again, just a reminder that it doesn't mean that you're like, essentially, if somebody doesn't want to do it, they're just no longer a fit, which is absolutely fine. And that's the mentality that we keep moving through as we evolve the business. Otherwise, we end up with little nooks and crannies, and then things get a little bit awkward.
Mhm.
That's good. Your just one final thing to check: your 270 hand raises, effectively, are they all logged somewhere? Are they in your 1031?
No.
Cool. I would ask you just to do that, not for now, but for future.
Yeah. I mean, that's as many comments, but maybe you might have commented 6 times.
Sure. Okay. So grab all of the names, all of the profiles, and I would copy their URL and paste that in the 1031. So
Yep.
Leah Collis, paste the URL next to it. Then when we run a promotion next, one of your first actions will be a personal reach out to all of those leads from.
Yeah, I'll do that anyway in preparation for the like the move, right? Because I can do that and let all those people know that way.
Yeah, that's it. It's such valuable data that a lot of people kind of like come to the end of a competition or whatever it is, and they just sack off those names. And actually, it's usually the 3rd or 4th time that they hear from you that they'll actually do something.
Just this is totally on random, but I've just remembered the data dashboard 2.0. This maybe is something for David, possibly.
Probably.
I've only got till April, and then I've got no more months. So I've done 2 years. How do I extend it?
Pretty sure there's a video on that in the training. I'll just have a quick look.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, I think there's a video at the bottom which shows you exactly how to do that. It's a very short video on how to extend the cells and make sure that all of the formula carry over. Yeah.
What's the training called?
I'll send you a link now, Leah.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's a video. It's the 3rd one down.
Perfect.
Extending the time frame of your dashboard. In that one there.
That 2.0 one is good, isn't it?
Banger.
Are you proud of that one?
We are proud.
It's a good example of minimal viable product again. Like,
Yeah.
let's get it out. People need it. We know it's not perfect, but you weren't sat there going, oh, we need version 2.0. Where is it? But like when we bought ourselves the time, we've learned more about you and what you guys will actually get value from, then we can build it.
3 is going to be something else then, Leah.
Oh my God.
Can't wait.
I reckon by the time we get to 3, there'll be an attached AI robot that will just do it for you.
Yeah, like I'm going to be like a pop-up in the bottom right corner saying, "Oh, Leah, don't do that."
Only if you're in your super dry hoodie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it'll be super dry, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Thanks.
just circling back around, Leah. If you need to shoot, can I just check that you're clear on everything now? Because we covered quite a lot of you today.
Yeah, really good. Thanks.
Pleasure. Well done. Rob, don't crash, buddy. But a little thumbs up. Are you all good? Do you have any follow-up questions? I don't know.
Okay, don't worry. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not driving. No.
Okay, you're all right. Are you all good? Did you have any questions?
I think so. I just need to crack on. I've noticed something about posting. Like, I know there's different trainings to help with this, but I've noticed one of my achievements years ago. It was a fight, and I got like massive.
Sorry, Rob. We're really
on that, like.
We're really struggling to hear you, mate. So I'm struggling to piece it together. Sorry, pal. If you can, if it's typable, type it. If it's not, give it another go.
It was just in regards to content.
Okay.
So, like, I'm getting, you mentioned social proof, at least one post a week. I'm trying to do daily social proof. In terms of finding the right client more and speaking through my own voice more, like, I discovered that, like, I did a post about like a cage fight that I did, and I got massive traction on that. And I think I need to possibly like dig into my own past, like, 7 Keltman events and these sorts of things, and various other, not even just sporting stuff, but just like challenges in my journey. So I think I need to do more of that. It seems to be working in terms of getting me recognized and things. So yeah, it was just to check what you thought about that.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Dave, do you want to start?
I've got a framework for this, and actually, Craig, I've been thinking a lot. I want to do a training on this, and I've got some ideas. And the training is basically like how to use you to get more clients. And what you're talking about is there's two layers to it. You've got the thing you're doing or the thing you did, the achievement you made, the stuff you're going through. That's the event. That's the Keltman. That's the Ironman. That's the having a baby. That's the doing a marathon. The things that you're doing or you've done isn't actually the main thing. It's actually your experience through that thing. And so if you just take the bridge model and bridge model yourself through the lens of that experience and share where you've been and where you want to go or where you've got to and what you've had to do to get there, people will trace themselves onto your journey. And they'll go, yeah, I relate to that. And then the power is that you don't just get them to relate into the journey. They feel what you felt or are feeling. They want what you're going to and what you're achieving. And so they're like, yeah, well, if he's doing it, there's proof that he's done it. But there's also that kind of authentic connection there because you're saying, look, I'm doing it. I'm leading. I am the one that's wanting this. And so therefore, by definition, they follow you and they will lean in a lot more. So yeah, I think there's a lot of power in that.
We go to more events and meet with more businessmen and women than we ever have, and sometimes we joke, don't we, Dave, that we don't have a fucked up story like most people do, and I say that in the nicest possible way. Like we meet we went to this one event, and every single person that went up was a drug addict and an alcoholic at some point in their life. Like it was ridiculous, but they were all multimillionaires, and a big part of their story is the reason why they became followed. And I'm not suggesting that we all go out and become alcoholics and drug addicts, but the principle here is highlighted that if you're not afraid to tell your story, if you're not afraid to share that openly, honestly, with transparency, then you're bound to find more of the right type of people. And just to bring that to something a bit more practical for you, Rob, we've always got these two things that we talk about, the trickle and the pour. And I've kind of tried to use the sizes of the boxes to identify like what's required. So when you run a promotion, the reason we like promotions is that they're a relatively small amount of effort and they go into a relatively small line of sell by chat before you get them booked in for an LNT. But the amount of like times that you can do that per year is finite, right? We're probably looking at what, 4 to 6 times tops to run that. The reason that a lot of people struggle with the trickle is because it's a lot more work. It takes a lot more consistency. It takes a lot more failures. It takes a lot more figuring out to get right. And when you get that engagement and that connection, it's likely that your sell by chat process for most people is going to be bigger and longer. Because we're not saying, hey, thanks for doing this thing. Do you want to come down to the studio? It's conversational. It's talking about your Keltman experience for 2 weeks and then diving into their ankle injury for another few days and then started to build up a little bit more from there. But ultimately, we want to end up at the same place, which is them coming to see you for an LNT of some kind. What you're talking about is fantastic, and I totally agree, but it's a project that lies much more within here, and just understanding that it's going to be like a continuous journey of telling that story, sharing that story, and starting sell by chat with those people to bring them through. But I think it's a very, very valid point, and it should form a very big part of what you do with things like your weekly client machine, Thirsty 30, those kind of daily interactions that you're having with your audience. Hopefully you got that, Rob.
If you could just repeat that all again, Craig.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Cool.
I get
Good stuff. Nice. Okay, team. So nice and clear with Leah and with you, Rob. Simon, all sorted on the back of your breakout room?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to pull together some stuff already and making sure my head's writing a few notes down in my head and stuff, and taking the next step in the next few days to pass things on.
Okay, cool. Good. Sounds good. Any other final questions, team, before we go? No worries, Rob. We'll catch you soon, mate. Well done.
See you, Rob.
And Rob, oh, he's gone. I'll message him. We need Rob to back himself. Close.
Why is he not backing himself?
That's the question.
Oh. Why does he need to back himself there? Like,
Just
why?
needs to closing his doors on face-to-face and moving into hybrid. Just
He's
that.
not playing PT, is he?
No, he's not. He was asking the question, but
Yeah, right.
with a little bit of fear. But we're good.
That's very normal. Very normal to have fear. Leah will have a shitload coming her way soon. So
Just
Sorry,
constant ball of fear.
yeah, exactly. And Simon's in the thick of it as well.
Who's the?
It is worth it.
I heard. Sorry, just on that one point, I heard a brilliant quote on this week. Can't remember exactly when. So one of those really simple ones. It's always hard before it gets easy. Always hard before it gets easy. This is like when you've got fear and pain and like frustration. You're going through something and it's going to make you better. The only way it doesn't is if you give up.
Sure.
Very true. I'll remember that in those sleepless nights, Dave.
100%.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I don't think that applies when it comes to being a mother or a father, though. The saying gets a little shorter, which is it's always hard.
Oh my God. You guys, how old are your kids now? Have you got a 3-year-old yet?
Mine are 8 and 6.
You've been there. You're not quite there. I was speaking to my sister, and her 3-year-old is crazy. And she said, no, she's got her own named developmental stage, a thrunt. She's like, oh, she's a nightmare, a 3-year-old cunt. Because she was just being such hard work.
That's exceptional.
My daughter.
Go on, mate. Go on. I was gonna say my dad, the day I told him that I was having, he just went, "Oh, you'll love it. It gets easier." I mean, once I passed 38, which my brother still lives at home at 38, so it's just like when you get 38, it's easy.
You've only got 37 3/4 months to get 37.
Yeah.
My daughter said to me today, she said, Daddy, you might have noticed that I've not been paying that much attention to you recently. And I said, funny you should mention that. I said, I have actually. She said, you always seem to catch me at the wrong time. I'm like, you're 8. Where is this coming from? So she's a real person now. It's quite funny. But she's kind of toying with being an adult in her own mind. So she says all these sentences, doesn't really know what they mean, but she just loves saying them. It's brilliant. So much fun.
All right, guys. I got to shoot.
Cool.
Thank you very much again.
Well done, guys.
Speak soon,
Bye.
Simon.
See you in a bit.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.